East Fork Quinault River Trail. Here is our mileage sign. In the last 3 years, I have hiked up East Quinault River Trail 4 times, making it into Enchanted Valley on 3 occasions. During that process, I have camped at virtually every established campgrounds along the trail. And while most of those are featured individually in my prior videos, I thought I would combine all campsites into one video before the 2024 rush starts to benefit those who may not be as familiar with this trail. However, while 75% of this content has been previously published, I've added new voiceovers focusing on the camping sites and the facilities or lack thereof. All right, for those who have not hiked East Quinault in the last year, I would like to welcome you to the Pony Bridge Privy. This was not here last year. I don't need to use it. I don't need to go find it, but it's sign's new and that trail is new, and I'm guessing back there actually is a privy. We're just above Pony Bridge here. That was always one of the complaints of this campsite, is that it did not have a privy. Edge to the trees, I don't know where it can be made out or not. Come around the trail here. The Pony Bridge is brand new. I've not yet seen it, so we'll take a look at the new Pony Bridge together. I see the Pony Bridge. The logs underneath have been replaced with steel beams. I have no idea how they got steel beams down here. Whether it's helicoptered in or whether they literally had a team drag them down the hillside. Looks like they reused the barely readable Pony Bridge sign that was already here. But you don't have to step up on it. You just come right in to nice level. Beautiful bridge. Pony Bridge. And I still have no idea why it's named Pony Bridge. Pony Bridge is one of the established campsite areas I have not camped at. Being only 2.5 miles from the trailhead, I am always pushing further, even with an afternoon start coming from Seattle. Also, it is still 11 miles to Enchanted Valley, which is outside of my comfortable daily range with a full pack. And coming back out, if you get here before dusk, once you do the quarter-mile climb up, you can hike the last 2 miles on your old roadbed after dark with a light if you had to. And it looks like they may have reused some of the old bridge here. There are campsites down that way. There's a few campsites up around the bend, and with a scramble you can get down that way to the water. All right, Fire Creek.
It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Fire Creek is roughly a mile past Pony Bridge, so around 3.5, possibly 4 miles from the trailhead. But we may not make it to O'Neill tonight, which is perfectly fine. Neil's another 3 up. We are now roughly 500 feet beyond Fire Creek. We're nowhere near O'Neill Creek, but it is 5:30. This site is not listed on any Park Service documents or shown on any maps that I know of. This is an absolutely fantastic spot, and I've got this mansion of a place to myself here. It's 5:30, as I said. Got 2 more hours of daylight. I'm going to be hard pressed to make O'Neill. Neil's probably 2 or 3 more miles up, and I have no idea how many more trees there are. There's one other spot like this further up, but I'm not going to risk someone else being there. So we're going to figure out which side we're going to sit up on, and start planning our next steps. Probably dinner and figuring out where I'm going to put the tent. So I have decided to come over here and put the tent there. It's underneath some healthy trees, so I'm not worried about any widowmakers. I'm surrounded by down timber, so I'm not in a game path. I'm not in any drainage, so I don't have to worry about water if it rains tonight, any water coming down. And actually the trees will protect both from rain and heat retention. That is where I will be sleeping after I get to throw a pad and a sleeping bag into the tent. But since animals can smell food especially, I do not keep food around the tent. I do not eat or cook in the tent. Since I've got this entire area to myself, I am using the other site down here as my kitchen and dining room. So down here, the first order of business tonight will be to use the water filter and filter some water from that stream. Even though it's a clear running stream, it's the main channel of the Quinault. I'm not going to take that unfiltered from there. And since I am in bear country and going into a restricted area, I am required to have some sort of hard-sided bear resistant container. So that is my bear vault there. They're only bear resistant. So far the Olympics have not had any bear break into it. Obviously if someone else was camping here, I would not use their spot as my cook spot, but since I've got this entire area to myself, I'm gonna spread out, which is generally what's recommended to do. So that is this is my palatial palace for tonight. I've got running water. I'm on a nice soft bed of needles over there. I kicked all the pine cones out of the way. There's plenty of room for another large group here if we want. And of course someone else who set up where my kitchen is. And if another group sat up there, I would actually invite them to come use the kitchen. The only things this site lacks are bear wire and a slippy. And we have about 2 hours of daylight here. So I'm going to shut this off and get cooking. The trail is back up there somewhere. So this shows that not all campsites are marked on a map. I found this little place. Meets the requirements of durable surface, i.e. bare ground. We've got the Quinault River, what's left of it this dry season, right over there. I'm going to set up there. There are no fires in this dry season, but there are fire pits here. There's one fire pit there, another fire pit back there. There's a tent site back further there, a little closer to the river. There's flat areas over here which have been used as tent sites that are not bare ground any longer. So if you have a large group, you might get away with it. The fed. And I am not telling where this is, but we are on East Quinault River, October, getting late early, which is why I did not make the campsite the established campsite I was heading for. But I saw the river close to the trail and saw a little trickle of a trail down here, which meant other people knew about this place. So I will be adding it to my Garmin list of places to come hide should the next zombie apocalypse happen. At the 6.5 mile mark, the O'Neill Creek cutoff leads down a 1/8 mile side trail to the main official established campsite at the halfway mark to the Enchanted Valley. Once you leave the O'Neill cutoff from the main trail and come down a very steep 1/8 mile long trail, it looks relaxing on your way down until you realize you gotta go back up it the next morning. You finally come to the camp area down here with four established sites and 1 or 2 unofficial sites. The first site, which for some reason scouts like to grab the first site they come to, is here, a rather small one. The next side trail to the right is the privy, which we will not be showing today or ever. The second site, in my humble opinion, is the best site. It is where I am set up for last night. It is a large site, nice camp ring with logs around it, and we got tents on that side and room for 2 or 3 tents over on that side. There's a small tent site down by the river also. This site, there's a trail back there to a large group site. It's also not all that level, but if you have a large group and can deal with it, there is that. As I said, between Pony Bridge and Enchanted Valley, this is the only privy on the trail in that 10-mile stretch. Here we have a river site, and then immediately beyond that we have the bear wires, and for those brave enough to camp right next to the bear wire, there's another site back there. I believe there's also unofficial sites back beyond there, but they're not official sites. But I know I've seen at least one down on the Sandy River, and there's a trail going back there. I don't know where to, and I'm not exploring it today. What do you get when you cross a bear wire and a bear vault? Maybe a bear piñata? And there's a note on the O'Neill cutoffs on the bulletin board that leads into the site that there was a lost cell phone here. One note to anyone leaving notes like that: please leave a date so we know whether the cell phone was lost yesterday or 2 months ago. And also, I have to be very impressed with anyone who had an iPhone 12 that you actually had paper and pencil to write a lost phone note with. I spent 5 minutes looking for it, and I'm sure they spent much longer and have not found it. So Sasquatch has a new phone, I guess. Pyrites Creek is somewhere between 8 to 9 miles from the trailhead, as I can't find accurate mile point for it. This makes it a full day for an average hiker from the trailhead and leaves either a half day to Enchanted Valley or an easy day hike to the valley and back. Fairwire. Pyrites Creek. This is the east side of the creek. Fairwire and camping here. Also, the river is down that way. I know people do camp down there. There are a half dozen sites on the upper bench, although the Quinault River is not easily reachable, but Pyrites Creek is. Exploring the lower bench in 2023, I ran into a bear that was not intimidated by me. We're now going to go up this trail and come out on the other side, on the west side of Pyrites Creek camp area. Coming into the west side of the Pyrites Creek camp area, we were coming downriver, so we're coming in from the east side of the camp area. This is the bigger area. This is the area most people stop at, primarily because when you're coming in, this is the first area that you encounter, and it's more obvious right from the trail. That can be a good thing or a bad thing. Again, you have fair wires right over there. I don't know where you can see them in this or not. You have numerous campsites over here. The only thing that, as far as I know, you do not have here is a privy. I see trails going off to the right that would lead me to be there. Maybe there was a privy here at one time, but now I guess they're cat hole trails. But we're stopping here for lunch. Okay, I am not trail running here. The video is double speed because when one first enters Enchanted Valley, there are no campsites for the first quarter mile. Although I have not been here on a summer holiday when rumor has it the main area is packed. All right. I know the area to the immediate right here has no suitable camping areas because that is where I was stalking the second elk herd that I published last month. crossing the last stream/gully before one gets to the chalet, if you take a hard right and follow the stream back into the woods, there are 2 sheltered campsites my son and I used in 2021 when the valley floor was still covered in snow. However, the downside of them is that they are in shade 24 hours a day. Approaching the chalet, some people go to the sites immediately to the left. I am not showing them here because there was a group camping there. However, in 2023, I arrived coming up from Pyrites that morning, and they were available, and I had lunch there. However, I found out that they are not all that level. I think that's my spot. All right, this has been my spot for the last 36 hours. And the only thing I had to remember is when getting out of the tent to watch out for an immediate drop-off. But as long as I don't fall down, this has been my view. And we're looking up across the Enchanted Valley. Spinning around, we of course have the iconic Enchanted Valley Chalet. Again, those sites downriver have the best view, but aren't that level. My site is there, and we are heading upriver. Large open site to the immediate right, not captured in video. It is a large flat rock in the middle of it in case anyone needs a sacrificial altar. Another large open site. There is also a trail going out the back side of it, leading to sheltered sites in the woods. There are 2 privies in Enchanted Valley. But they do not have any toilet paper or hygiene wipes. A few less desirable, but still very plausible sites are out here if the main sites in the valley are all full. And just beyond the bear that is coming up, there's another group site back in the trees straight ahead with its own bear wire that our scout troop used in 2014. That is where I was heading before backing up. It is the last site in Enchanted Valley, or the first site if one is coming over from Anderson Pass. Here, there's at least 3-4 other groups here. But I am, as you can see, I am in the middle of the Quinault River. The river is a trickle on the far side over there. But I'm going to turn the camera around so you don't have to look at me and you can see the grandeur of Enchanted Valley. And if you don't know where this is, if you're new to Olympic National Park, we are on the East Fork Quinault River, 13 miles from the Graves Trail headed. So it's either an arduous one-day hike or an easy or 2 easy day hikes, however you want to make it. Looking south or looking west down the East Fork Quinault River. It's like 1,500 feet vertical there from the valley floor. In addition to the bank, some people camp directly in the riverbed. While mostly river rock, small areas of sand can be found that require moving only a few rocks to make room for a tent. Two distant groups camped, and then in 2023, when I had my choice of any site, I site by the nearer group of trees. And then, swinging around, my 2022 site past the big tree closer to the chalet. And we come around and, of course, catch the Enchanted Valley chalet.